Hey, everybody. Welcome to the B2B Revenue Leadership Podcast. Hey, what we do on this podcast is talk about what B2B sales and marketing leaders, operators, and experts are doing today to really break through and grow their businesses at exponential levels. Let's get it in the interview. At the end, I'll give you an update on my courses, and you can check out my website at b2brevenue.com, and it's Brian G. Burns on LinkedIn. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, tell us about yourself.
So my name is Chris Smith. I'm CEO of Happy HR in Melbourne, Australia. We are a HR software that supplies legally applied contracts, policies, etc. to businesses. We integrate with lots of fun softwares as well. Been going 5 years and emerging as a market leader in HR SaaS.
Cool. And how'd you come up with this idea?
I had a manufacturing business back in the day, and actually 50% of my export market was the US back in the day. And HR was a big part of that. And when I sold that company, you have a restraint of trade. It's pretty tight. So it meant that I had to go from manufacturing of food to something else.
Yeah.
So I started consulting and helping businesses grow in the export market. Very quickly, I realized that they didn't have a grip on HR, and HR was very expensive. Lawyers, policies, contracts, blah, blah, blah. So I looked at the immersion of companies like Xero and those types of companies, like from $50 a month, you could get an accounting software. It was pretty decent. So I'm like, let's do this for the HR space. And 5 years later, we are who we are today.
Wow. But it's a pretty competitive space, isn't it?
It's kind of strange. We will win 9 out of 10 deals we'll go for. I think the reality of Happy HR, people talk about features, right? All the time. But we are we're feature rich and we've got great integrations that actually work. So it's the tech that's great. But it does come with a human element that you get a qualified consultant. So we call it software as a service and service as a service. And it's good old fashioned service. So it's really, for me, it's like there's competition out there, but when you're dealing with directors or managers or vice presidents or whoever, people just want that element of they are going to get support, because the integration of a SaaS product into a business is essentially change management. And it's hard and it takes time, where we've got a very easy process. So it's in for a large enterprise or a small, it can be integrated very quickly and without any disruption into a company's way that they have been doing things previously. So it's been successful in that regard. Instead of having to try to put a square peg in a round hole, we kind of a round hole and we kind of make it nice and comfortable. So it's been quite good.
Yeah, because I guess you're dealing with non-technical people. Right.
Yeah, and sometimes, yeah.
The last thing they want to do is, they have to learn a new system, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And no matter how arcane their system is, they probably know it. It's theirs, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea of switching to something else without that service is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how'd you come up with the name Happy?
It was one of those ones where HR is not very happy. People fear performance management. So I thought, you know what, the catchphrase is, Happy HR, it's HR made happy. And we endeavor to do that. And through working with our customers, whether they're very technical or non-technical, we make that experience, I suppose, best spoke to them. So that means that they can get on board into the software. There's no stress or anxiety with that change management. I'm a paper-based person with filing cabinets of all this HR stuff, and now moving into the cloud, that must be really hard. It's actually not. But we help them understand that. So we've got a 99% retention rate of clients. So that's kind of unheard of in SaaS. So again, it goes back to you're this type of persona, and when we say we're going to actually help you, we really do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And who do you sell to? Certain size companies or?
Yeah, our sweet spot's probably 0 to 250 employees. We have some larger companies with 2,000 employees, not an issue. And the site's built so whether it's you got 10 employees or 2,000, the site loads just the same. So it's really great tech. but our sweet spot's 0 to 250, or 1 to 250, I should say.
Yeah.
And that seems to be where we really dominate the market here in Australia.
Okay. And what resources do you put towards marketing versus sales?
It's been really interesting. That's, I listen to your podcast all the time. So people say, well, we're always saying internally, without marketing, you got no sales, and without sales, you got no marketing. Realistically, we're putting at least 10 to 15% of overall revenue into marketing. And you look at sales staff, you'd say, 30% of the revenue is in sales staff in the business. So it's probably a 50 versus 100 split when you look at that part of the revenue. But what we are doing a lot, which is working very well, is investing very heavily in partnership programs. And I mean genuine partnerships. When you've got an accountant that says to the client, pay your tax and do your GST and do this, the client says, okay, no problem. If they say, you're using Xero or MyOb or KeyPay or whatever, you should integrate with Happy HR because they're going to be great. They go, yes. But the difference is we hold their hands. So they really enjoy that relationship. And that builds a lot of equity with the accountant because like, geez, that company you put me onto are great. So the accountants love us. So we've picked up lots of partners in this space because, people are realizing now more than ever having a trusted partner and providers that say what they're going to do is very important in this marketplace.
Yeah. I had a payroll person on a while ago, and they do the same thing. And almost all of them seem to do that, or they just pure cold call, which you're trying to find the needle in the haystack where the pain is big enough, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting here in Australia. We've got the Fair Work Commission. There's 122 industries and awards that things are governed by. If you get in trouble, you can go onto the Fair Work website and be a bit of an ambulance chaser and chase it down. But they don't really want to talk to you because they've gone through pain. They've been fined by the commission. They don't want to talk to you. But people are generally trying to now optimize their businesses. They've got accountants. They've got business coaches. I think for the first time in my business career, I'm seeing people who traditionally would have never sought out a consultant or coach. They actually are saying, I don't know enough about this now. So they're actually starting they're realizing that investment in coaches and doing what they say is quite interesting. I'm seeing a lot more of that now.
Yeah. And so your sales team, what do? They focus purely on partnerships, or is there
no? We do. We've got a partner. We've got a head of strategic partnerships, and that heads up partners. Then we've got our sales consultants so leads come through our digital marketing, and we do a lot of LinkedIn, we do a lot of Facebook, we do a lot of Instagram, do a lot of webinars and seminars that are really quite powerful. They're really good webinars and seminars that we do. We do lots and lots of those. So that generates enough leads, frankly, so they never have to do a cold call ever. Wow. So that means that we can go out to market, and then with every single lead that comes through, it's just because you want a demo, you get qualified very, very well, and which is quite an engaging process. We have 15 minutes. So we have a HR risk assessment that people fill out, 5-10-minute quiz, spits them out a beautiful PDF of where they are, what they can do. They can take that, go with it. It's up to theirs, a beautiful document. But from there, they get a very bespoke demo, a really tailored proposal, and then they're really educated that, we're going to take care of it. Even though it could be only $50 a month for that person, they still get that love all the way through. They get treated like it's a $10,000 deal, and it could be a $50 per month deal, but they get that love the whole way through. So we'll close 90+% because of that. But these people generally can't wait to get started, and they go through a really slick induction process. The time they get through the end, they never have to worry about HR again, ever.
And are you the sole owner, or do you have investors?
I am. No, I built it organically. So I started with, a very basic website, and I've built this bugger for 5 years. It's killed me. So I've been product manager, CEO, head coder, you name it. And pretty funny starting as a chef. But it's gone through to a process where, I've used that first sort of 4 years, all the money went back in. And now we're more than profitable. We have private equity knocking on the door all the time saying, hey, can we please invest? And I'm like, no, thank you very much. And we're just now investing in our people and making sure we've got happy people. And as you know, retention's key. And it's been interesting, but sole owner at this point.
And what's the trigger event that causes somebody to go with you?
Yeah, we just done some market. It's a great question. I just actually instructed my operations guy. I said, let's do some market research in this time. Yeah. Why do people actually contact us? Like, has that changed? So Julian, my head of operations, he's gone and done some pretty deep research to our partners. Why are our partners contacting us? And why are people contacting our partners? And why are people contacting us directly? The key thing is really about two at the moment is, you know what, I've got some downtime right now. I've been burying my head in the sand. I should get my house in order. I've probably dodged a few bullets. Now it's time to get sorted. So they are. And other people are at this point in time, we've been offering 15 minutes of support. So no obligation. We are dead set here to help the Australian small business community. And people have been calling up and they've realized, oh my God, I've got nothing in place where it should be. And the reason being too costly normally, blah, blah, blah. So those two events of needing support or being proactive are the two major areas right now. And we're covering off on those quite well. And it's helping, we're really helping them. Actually, a great thing happened the other day. One of the radio stations here in Melbourne got wind of us of doing all this support to the Australian small business community and actually offered us quite a sum of advertising, actually offered us free advertising for a month. We had won a prize for giving stuff to the community. It wasn't expected, but that's the type of reputation we're getting here in Australia, building that real equity with people to say, here's a company that actually cares and actually says what they're going to do. Yeah. It's been very nice to win that.
And who is the person that makes the decision typically? Is it the finance operations person or is it the CEO?
With that qualification process I spoke about earlier, we really find out about where they are with their contracts, policies, PDs, where they are their position descriptions aligned to strategic goals? Do they have a SWOT analysis? Do they have benchmark? How sophisticated are they? Yeah. So looking at the managing director or GM, it's like, okay, that's the HR side, but how compliant are you with pay rates and all these things are needed probably to get organized there. Okay, let's get your finance manager and let's do a payroll and happy HR demo because we are HR and we're payroll too. So we are from recruitment all the way through to termination, everything end to end. We are literally end to end. So it's a big product, but it's easy to use. But we have payroll and that, so we can take care of any business or key stakeholder and make sure their needs are met too. So we don't get that situation where the managing director says, I like this, but I've got to talk to my CFO. We have them on the demo going, the risk management is taken care of. The operations manager loves it. Your GM loves it. And here's your finance side. Integrates with the system you're using now and you're 100% payroll compliant. So that means we can slam dunk it in one demo, take care of the whole supply chain.
And what are they typically using before they go with you? Is it anything online or is it paper?
Most people if you're asking this question in 2016, they would have been using paper 100%. Yeah. Okay. And then in 2017, I had this saying, he who integrates first wins. Okay. And now it's like people who have a need for a HRIS and have probably invested heavily in another HRIS and realized, wait a second, I probably need something way more powerful. Then they're coming to us because they've used one of our competitors. They've seen us, heard about us and gone, I might get a demo and like, oh my God, this is a way better product. I'm going to use Happy HR. So that's happening a lot more now. So people have transitioned from other HR products to us, which is the last year being quite interesting.
Yeah. And where do you see yourself taking the business?
It's the goal. Well, with COVID-19, it would have been great to take it global. This year, I'll focus on Australia now and New Zealand. And it's because, New Zealand's basically the poor sister, or if you want to call it that, or they're winning the COVID
Oh,
battle.
don't say that.
No, they're amazing. I've got lots of
Good recovery.
Guys, yeah, thanks for that. So typical salesman. No, I can't wait to launch New Zealand. That's going to be really exciting. They've got some really interesting payroll laws, and a lot of people get caught up with holiday pays and other things. So it's been interesting how that's been coped with, and we've got our payroll system to accommodate that, and New Zealand laws. Then would be probably UK and America. I've had a lot of experience in the States with my previous company. So I touched every 50 states, and there's a grocery store nearby. I probably know it. So that was interesting. So I love doing business over there. I think our platform would work really well in the States because of the way it's the wireframe built around performance management and engagements and all that sort of stuff. So it's gamified. So I think that'll suit the American market well. And just really ensure that our service mix stays the same. So I don't really care where we go with our product, but when you pick up the phone, you will always speak to someone who's local, who's a bachelor qualified in HR. That will always be our shtick. Absolutely.
Yeah. Instead of just reading off a menu.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, there'll be no call centers with us. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Is it plugged in? Is it turned on?
That's right.
Like, okay, can we start a little further?
It's so true. I think with this crisis, what's taught us is we've not lost a single subscriber through this period.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I actually, like all CEOs would go, okay, let's project 5% a month for the next 6 months of loss of clients. And let's look at the very worst case scenario, which we did. And then all of a sudden, we're getting thousands of calls a week, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 emails a week, spitting out all this HR advice. And all of a sudden, we realize that we're an essential service now, like an accountant. So this epiphany, even for 5 years in business, knowing we're doing a great job, to have that come home to roost, that we are loved by our clients, that was it's been quite humbling, actually.
Right. I think you're in the perfect triangle of it's high value, low cost, high service. Right. And when you talk to somebody at a company, a relationship starts, a dependence. And that is a lot harder to break than, just a typical SaaS thing. We just unsubscribe or cancel.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And churn, is that much of an issue at all with you?
No, it's like we've got a 99% retention rate.
Yeah.
So it's been, when we started the business, you heard of all these companies churning 30, 40%. And I have never experienced that. Yeah. We really just haven't. We are, it's, even as a CEO, and I'm a busy person, as all CEOs are, but I still make time every day and I still do HR activities.
Yeah.
And it's where you hear, we've got all these new features being launched. They're being launched because a client said, I've got a great idea for your product. I'm like, please do tell. And we then go, in 3 months, I'll build that. And we do. And they're like, then I call them and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And they're like, that's so cool. Yeah. So we're building it out like that all the time. Client feedback's critical to us.
So what's your key challenge in growth? Is it finding developers? Is it finding people? Is it?
Well, sales guys are always hard, my friend.
They are, aren't they? They're a difficult group, aren't they?
Yeah, we've not had, I have to honestly say, development has never really been the problem because, you can tell code to go left or right. And if you've got good security protocols and all, could we invest like a good 25% of our development budget in security, as an example, right? I don't know many companies that do that, right? So I'm a bit crazy with that stuff because it's sensitive data, all that sort of stuff. You're trying everything you can possibly do to spend a reasonable budget on that. I think salespeople are the hardest because all our crew listen to your podcast. I was saying to you earlier before, they love listening to your podcast and I love listening to all your parodies and everything. And we all have a very good laugh here, but because it's so true. But finding people that are emotionally intelligent, that don't go out to sell, they go out to educate. And they actually should care that that client has a persona, has a need, and just educate, because if they get it, they'll get it. And it's your job in a demo is to turn that on and help them to realize their life will be way better off by having the product. I reckon that's 1 in 100 salespeople. I honestly do. So, very early on, we churned through people because we didn't get the right persona of salesperson. So that was very, very challenging and embarrassing because as a HR company, you're losing all that stuff. But you finally find your groove and you realize that the people you're hiring, these, great sales guys from SaaS companies, aren't salespeople. So we've had success with people who sell gym memberships and real estate agents that have had an old school mentor who just said, son, you look after the customer, they'll look after you. And it is very, very true. So we're getting think about it. We want to make best salespeople sold gym memberships, right? And because he cares about, so you come to the gym, why have you come to the gym? Right. And blah, 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 blah. So he's just wonderful. And other guys who come in real estate, similar things. So I'm finding success there, and that's quite interesting. So I'm hoping as we grow globally, we find more of those people. That'll be the greatest challenge we'll have, is finding people in sales that educate rather than sell. I think that's the biggest challenge for every SaaS company. Wow. But that'll be our challenge. Finance won't be a problem. We're profitable. I don't need any private equity. We can grow country by country and do it profitably, which we're in a really great position. I'm really proud of that. I suppose I'm in that position because we're not owned by private equity. We're not owned by angel investors. I don't answer to anyone. So if I want to reduce my EBITDA because I want to take on a market, I can do that. So it's a good position in that regards.
That's it. Because if you tried to present your original sales strategy to a VC, they wouldn't like it. It's too much hands-on. It's absolutely the most effective.
Yeah, it is very effective. And we've got thousands of customers and 99% retention rate. I would challenge any company out there that's got those rates, but it's not by accident. It's great sales tactics that educate and good old-fashioned services. I keep saying
that's it. I always thought that should be a field in the CRM that was the total amount of time spent with the client. That's it. I think too many people are trying to rush the sales process. So what you end up doing is losing. And it's like, even if you get somebody on the phone, how much time and money went into getting that to happen?
Yep. 100%.
And people were trying to go, discovery call, presentation, demo, propose. And it's like, are they even attached to the idea?
Absolutely. 100%. I think we had our first year in 2015, and in 2016, it was only a small year, building the minimal viable product, getting it going, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't taking it that seriously at that point. So I'm like, I've got a great idea, but we'll see how we go. And then in 2016, I started reading a lot of research out of, United States, Canada, whatever, of the churn rate of businesses. But one guy out of, where was it? Out of what university in New York? What's the university in New York?
Columbia
University did a thesis on what you just talked about, the attachment to a digital product and how long is the perfect amount of time. And this is like this atom bomb going off my head, because I was trying to close deals like every young entrepreneur is. And I'm like, oh my God, I've just lost my way here. And it was like someone just kicking me up the butt and saying, right, Chris, this is how you sell. Go back to the core of who you are. You love to give your time up to make sure you're building connection. Because you're building connection, they trust you. It's what you do in your recruitment practice. Like, come on, Chris. And that's what I did. It was a great article. I'll never forget it. I still got it. Great article.
And that's what Facebook did. They did the math on it, and they said, after you invite 4 friends, you're on Facebook forever.
Wow.
So the key was to get 4 friends connected with you as fast as possible. Because you're not going to be on there if you don't know anybody, right?
Yeah, that's right. Correct.
Who cares what anyone else thinks about politics or what they had for dinner, right?
Yeah, 100%. Exactly right. Exactly right.
If you don't know them already, you don't care.
Yeah, correct. 100%.
Absolutely. And I also like the gym membership thing, because I owned a couple of gyms, and that process is very consultative.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because lots of competition, very personal, conversational, and a gym's a gym, except as long as it matches what they want. Right.
That's exactly right. I look at I see it on demos all the time, because we've got lots of softwares we help to run our company. I'm yet to have a demo and I've had hundreds of demos in my time. I've only had one or two that have really got me really going, because they sold like me. Like, I don't know. Gyms is, I think, one of the greatest examples. You're going to the gym, here is a sauna. You know what? This is a great time to use the sauna, and this is why you should use the sauna. And here is actually 3 or 4 sessions with a PT to learn how to use the equipment. And maybe it's your 4-step Facebook friends. Here's 4 gym memberships. Because I've seen that a lot, actually. And those people, because I like to go to the gym, and I go religiously, not at the moment because it's COVID, but the point being is, it's those people who get that love from the gym end up being there in a year from now. So it's a very small investment to make.
Yeah.
And because lessons everywhere.
Yeah. What I did with our reps is very quickly qualify. If all they care about is cost, they're not the right match for us.
Yep.
And what I heard was, if they care about cleanliness, we got them. Because they would walk around, and all the equipment, there was wipes everywhere. There was never anything out of place and stuff.
Yes.
So it's both qualification and guiding them through what they want.
Yes, 100%. It's so true. And people, it's weird. I talk a lot about persona of clients, and we've got, a range of personas that we sell to. And the demo is very different based on the persona, because we've done this qualification. We know what they really want to find out. And then because of their industry and because of persona, we're like, there's a couple other features that I'd be really remiss not to tell you about. We've got 5 things I'd love to say, but which 2 out of those 5 really matter to you? And it's like, I didn't actually realize you did that. Now it's all over the homepage. It's everywhere. You can't miss our features. It's there. But it's about taking them through those things that they probably, we have to help them discover what else is important to them.
Yes.
And that is something you have to do in SaaS. So anyone who's watching this, if you're in software sales, for God's sake, just take the time to sell. And ask the right questions and actually show you care. And it's amazing.
It's all the difference. Hey, this has been a great conversation. Where can people go to connect with you and learn about your company?
Yeah, please go to happyhr.com and or email just happy@happyhr.com.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that interview. Hey, I want to make sure you're checking out b2brevenue.com. That is where you can get a free copy of an ebook that I did. It's a real ebook. It's not a fluff book. It shows and talks about how companies make buying decisions and how you can influence that from both a marketing and a sales standpoint, how to find all the people that are in the decision path and what they need to see, know, and touch and feel before they make a product selection. If your team needs some coaching, some help, some training, some systems, some processes that do work today, because we know what doesn't work, or what doesn't work, I'll show you what does work and how to connect and get into pretty much any account. It includes deal coaching and content community, and I can customize it for your particular company. Just go to b2brevenue.com, look under training, schedule a call with me. We can talk it over, or just sign up. You can pay per month or all at once, whichever makes most sense for your budget. Also, I put out videos pretty much daily on LinkedIn and on YouTube. On LinkedIn, it's Brian G. Burns, and on YouTube, it's Brian Burns Sales. Just search for that if you like to consume some video content. And if you see me on LinkedIn, please put a comment and a share and a like on some of the videos. I really appreciate it. I've got a company page for each podcast. This one, the B2B Revenue Leadership Podcast, where I put both content and humor videos out daily. And tell a friend about the podcast. Really appreciate you listening. Check out the show notes for all the partners and the connections you can make there, the coupon codes for the products to evaluate them, see if they're a right match for you. And we'll see you next time.